Okay, so right now in the world of AI, there's this massive shift happening. A huge realignment that's shaking up everything from the biggest corporate boardrooms down to the tools you and I use every single day. We're going to break down this AI revolution through 5 key stories that, when you put them all together, really show you the bigger picture of what's going on. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with the 30,000-foot view, how the tech giants are thinking strategically. Then we'll zoom right into the trenches of the frantic market for talent, check out some incredibly creative deal-making, and then see what's actually happening in the average workplace. And finally, we'll take a look at what's coming down the road. First up, Microsoft. And let me be clear, we're not talking about a few tweaks here and there. To get ready for an AI-first future, they are doing a complete, fundamental overhaul of their entire company. This is a massive move. And this is definitely not business as usual. The story is that CEO Satya Nadella is in full-on founder mode. He's not delegating this. He is personally driving the ship to speed up innovation at all costs, making huge hires from the outside and reshuffling his most senior leaders, all to remake Microsoft in AI's image. So why this huge disruptive shakeup? Well, it really boils down to 3 big things. 1, they just have to move faster, period. 2, they're strategically getting ready for a future where they aren't so reliant on their key partner, OpenAI. And 3, the competition from rivals like Alphabet and Amazon is just absolutely intense. This is a high-stakes pivot for dominance. And this sense of urgency at Microsoft, it's not happening in a vacuum. Not at all. It's part of this fierce industry-wide scramble for talent. And that brings us perfectly to our next story, what Meta is doing. So Meta is betting big on something called AI agents. What are they? Well, basically they're AI that you can give a goal to, and they just go and figure out how to do it on their own. And to build out that capability, they just went and bought a Singapore-based startup called Manus. And this is where it gets kind of crazy. This little startup, Manus, the one Meta just snapped up, they went from launch to over $100 million in annualized revenue in just 8 months. 8. That kind of speed is just unheard of, and it shows you exactly why they were such a prime target in these escalating AI talent wars. But here's the thing. In this crazy race for talent, you can't just go out and buy a company like you used to. Not anymore. The regulators are watching every single move, and that's forcing companies to get incredibly creative, which brings us to Nvidia. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Look at how this deal is put together. Nvidia needed the critical AI chip talent from a startup called Groq. So what do? They structured this massive $20 billion licensing agreement. This is not your typical acquisition. It's a whole new playbook, designed from the ground up to avoid setting off all those antitrust alarm bells. And check this out. It's a total win-win-win. Nvidia gets the brainpower it desperately needs. Groq, the smaller company, actually gets to stay independent. And of course, the employees and investors, they walk away with huge payouts. This is a perfect sign of how intense the race has gotten. It's forcing big tech to literally rewrite the rules of the game. Okay, so we've seen these massive corporate shakeups, these frantic talent grabs, these multi-billion-dollar creative deals. It's a lot, and it makes you wonder, right? With all this high-stakes action happening at the very top, is any of this actually trickling down? Is it really transforming the average company? And believe it or not, the answer for now is a surprisingly clear no. While the giants are throwing around billions and re-engineering their entire companies, the reality of AI adoption on the ground, in most offices, it's way quieter. It's much more step-by-step than the headlines would have you believe. And this chart, it tells the whole story. You can see companies are absolutely using AI for these study practical wins, right? Automating tasks they already do, summarizing documents, helping out customer service. That's the high adoption bar. But that second bar, reinventing their entire operation from the ground up, yeah, almost no one is doing that yet. So what's the holdup? What's holding them back? Well, it all boils down to one simple, powerful word: trust. That's it. The biggest thing stopping companies from just letting AI run wild isn't the technology itself, it's whether they can trust it. The fear of mistakes, errors, those weird AI hallucinations we hear about. It all means that for now, most companies are making sure there's a human keeping a very close eye on things. But look, just because there's a gap between the boardroom hype and the day-to-day reality, don't for a second think this thing is slowing down. The overall momentum of AI is, well, it's pretty much unstoppable as we look ahead.
I mean, think about it. It wasn't that long ago that AI was just a concept in a research lab. Today, it's already woven deep into our lives, right? It's powering the weather forecasts you check every morning, it's helping with medical diagnoses, and looking forward, it's only going to get more powerful, more personal, and more embedded in pretty much everything we do.
But of course, with all that power comes some pretty serious risks, and experts are all saying the same thing. We urgently need better rules and a lot more public education to handle the big challenges on the horizon. Things like super advanced phishing attacks, the potential psychological effects on all of us, and of course, the big one, the spread of misinformation. So let's just pull this all together. What we're really seeing is this great AI realignment. On one side, you had the hype of an instant overnight revolution, but the reality? It's a much more calculated, hands-on restructuring by these giant companies. The hype was about simple corporate buyouts. The reality is these incredibly creative, talent-focused deals that bend the old rules. And the hype was about fully autonomous agents taking over the workplace. The reality, for now, is small, steady gains, with a human always in the loop. This whole shift is clearly redrawing the map of the entire tech world. There's no doubt about that. But the final, and I think most important question it leaves us with, is this. How is it going to redraw ours? Our work, our lives, and our world?